What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Hope everybody's doing awesome this evening. Thank you all so much for tuning in here for another episode of the Tuffy Talk live show. Again, we're going to be talking all good things today, and we're sitting here 7-2, baby. I like that. I like that sound. 7-2. It sounds pretty nice. And as you may see, for those who are watching here with us right now, you may notice that you got 4 of us here that you can see all, the normal guys, but you got one guy that it has his camera off, which, I wouldn't be surprised. He said there's a reason why his camera's off. I'm going to make the guess saying that he's going to be dressed like a certain quarterback that has been playing pretty well recently. I mean, I'm just throwing that guess out there.
That is an incorrect guess. That is an incorrect guess.
Okay. All right.
Are you guys ready for the reveal?
All right, I got to pause the background music.
Better be worth the wait is all I got to say.
Right.
Well, it was a big win, right? And so what do we do after every big win?
Turn the red light on.
Hey!
Let's go. Turn it red. Let's go.
The music too.
Let's go.
Dang. I see you, Greg. I see you. Okay.
Have we started this campaign yet?
Oh, look at Megan. Oh man. Let's go, dude. Man, we're feeling it today. We're feeling it today on the Tuffy Talk live show.
Well, my camera's on.
For real, there needs to be. He's not gonna be a Heisman candidate, but I think it'd be hilarious if somebody in the student section just made this random sign.
Yeah.
Hey Les, I got you on Saturday.
He's only played a game and a half. That'd be hilarious to me. So
that would be pretty good.
I'll make it on Saturday. Yeah. You'll see it.
That'll be pretty good.
More ranked teams than UNC.
Sure.
Ooh, that's true. Yeah. Well, one thing which I do gotta say, first of all, if you've tuned in for our live show before, you know the drill. But if you haven't before, make sure to just send us a comment. Let us know who's here. Give us your thoughts about the game. Give us your thoughts about men's basketball that just started and looked like they're off to a good start so far. Women's basketball, who absolutely was dominant against Quinnipiac, I think is how you say the name. Quinnipiac?
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah.
I don't think they even know how to say it.
It's the same thing as Uyongo. So, the backup quarterback for Clemson, right? So make sure, again, just send us comments, send us question, thought, whatever it may be, and we'll get to it here as soon as we can. But obviously, again, we're feeling good here. 7-2 off of a big win off of the Wake Forest team, 30-21. And, obviously highlighted by a lot of things. Obviously, the defense was spectacular. We're going to talk more about that. Obviously, going to talk about the up and coming of MJ Morris and how impressive that has been. Got to also talk about Chris Dunn for sure. I mean, you can't go too far without talking about that. It sounds. Who's listening to it?
There's an echo out there. Yeah.
Oh no, it's all right, guys. I'll try to do something interesting here. Try a little something different. You're good.
Are we getting a little too? He went incognito.
Yeah. So as you can see too, perfect timing as it decides to not be able to recognize my camera. So we're gonna switch to that as well. But we're off to a great start, y'all. Anyway, though, so now Megan's muted.
Megan, you're muted.
All right, now you're unmuted. Go ahead.
We thought the season was going to be like, and then the rest of the show is going to be just amazing.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
A microcosm.
This is all planned.
Yeah, he's a big word.
We did all this on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So while I'm getting that figured out, how about Greg? Just give us the thoughts, man. Give us the thoughts. Give us the feelings. What are you feeling, brother?
Look, we talked about this last week that when Devin Leary went down, this season could have gone one of two ways, and I think we're on the path that we all hoped that we would be on. But I think even the most diehard fan like myself would be, wow, like we are exceeding those expectations, I think. I mean, what does everyone else think there?
To me, the way I feel about it is I think State is – I don't know if you talk about exceeding expectations where we thought it would be beginning of the season?
No. Like having lost Leary and like knowing –
Oh, in that case, 100% exceeding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did Dave Doran and anybody else think a third-string rookie QB would be starting and winning games? No.
Right.
against
Yeah.
Sam Hartman.
Yeah,
at Wake
right.
Forest.
Can y'all hear me here?
yeah, you're good,
Yep.
man.
Okay, cool. Yeah, sorry about that. I was
And
jumping around.
you can argue, and I think I saw it on Twitter too, that our third string quarterback beat a potential Heisman dark horse, and the stats may not bear it, but just by looking like the eye test, he played better than Hartman. No turnovers.
No.
Hartman threw for almost 400 yards, but who gives a care about yards,
He had
right?
3 picks too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? I was going to say Wake Forest did improve. They went from 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
So you're saying they got better this week?
Yeah. So I'm saying they might get down to 1 or 2, but there was some improvement. So that's good there.
Yeah. Well, definitely for sure. It's still crazy what's going on from Wake Forest perspective, but I mean, hey, especially if they're on the trajectory they're on, went from 8 interceptions to 3 interceptions, that with them playing UNC next week, it couldn't become at a better time, to continue that trend and force what UNC to throw 2 interceptions, because it's a 3, -2, so 2 interceptions UNC's way. So that's how I look at it,
That's way too much math for me.
Right? He did way too much there.
Go ahead, Megan.
I was listening to the Inside Pack Sports podcast. They were saying, I think they put it out, maybe they put it out on a tweet too. They were saying if Wake Forest loses to UNC this weekend, they will have only had 1 winning season with Dave Clawson, or in the ACC. Like they would have, if it wasn't for that, they would have been like 4 and 4, something like that in the ACC. They've only had 1 season in the years he's been here where they've been over 500.
Wow.
Right.
If they lose. If they win, it'll be 2 seasons, right? So
right.
Still not a lot,
which is hard to believe because that's a program that's been on the rise. So you would have thought that number would not have bared out the way that you're describing it.
The whole point they were trying to make there is that is Dave Clawson really that great of a coach? So you give me a credit there with IPS and really enjoy their podcast. But that's a thought there.
Yeah. Well, and one thing too, that I do want to go ahead and jump on is, yesterday, myself and Ken Gibbs from Locked On Wolfpack, we did the preview / kind of discussion on Wake Forest and Boston College. And one thing that really clicked to me, because one thing that really has kind of bugged me recently is there's been a lot of comments about, well, it's great that we're having all these great things, but, it's still tough because we don't have a championship to show for it, and we're not going to have one this year. Which the thing that's the stat that stands out to me the most, and I think this pretty much should silence all Doran doubters, is that I'm not saying it's going to happen, but per FPI, we have a 90.8% likelihood of having back-to-back undefeated home seasons.
Right.
Again, I mean, not saying it's going to happen, but again,
strongly likelihood.
Very, very, very likely we have back-to-back undefeated home seasons, and the fact that we literally before last year didn't have an undefeated home season in 35 years. Right. We're about to more likely have them back-to-back. That's insane.
Yeah, and it's not like we're playing scrubs at home either, right?
No, that's exactly my next point.
Okay,
go ahead,
question.
Megan.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, I mean, that was Lou Holtz's season. That was the early mid-70s we're talking about. Something that's been done since the 70s, 50 years.
Yeah.
And people talk about Dave Doran's record. Well, he got another ranked win against a rival in state. That's recruiting, if nothing else. And it's a good national game. But at the same time, it's like Dave Doran did that. Like, he brought that to state. It's not people want to keep taking shots at Doran. Like, you can't – he's doing things that are historical.
Unprecedented.
Historical for state. I mean, they're big deals. Only maybe 1 or 2 coaches are doing a lot of the things he has ever done. Like, he's in the top 2 or 3 winning percentage of coach. I think it's top 2 right now, right? He's got like a few games shy of tying the record. So, you know.
And I don't know if we're going to use this tweet later on, but the Brent McMurphy tweet that we've been in the top 25 17 straight weeks. That's significant. Like, well, it's the fourth or 5th longest in the country.
Right. It was like 4th, 5th, maybe 6th, something like that. It was like very notable. And again, with teams like Ohio State, Alabama,
Michigan,
Penn State, I think was in that, maybe somewhere in there.
I'll go ahead and share it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
I'll go ahead.
Let me ask y'all a question. If we beat Boston College on Saturday, do you think there would be a field storm?
Hold on. Pause. I have to pause Mackenzie there. If you of all people said if we win,
I'm tired of people saying
Yeah,
you're
that's-
too
You've been, the
optimistic
one,
for me.
you've been the one saying we're going to go undefeated the whole season, so I'm sorry you're even loud.
All right,
no,
sorry.
no.
I get crapped on when I'm optimistic. I get crapped on when I'm not. Let me just shut the heck up. You're right.
no, stop.
No. But
If anybody, I'm rushing. So I want y'all to join me. Whoever's gonna be there.
I saw a few people out there on Saturday.
I
I
got
always did it.
I'm the one that got the video of it. It's hilarious. Good for them. But it's a perfect point that goes. Nicholas just brought up the question: are you guys worried this week's game against Boston College could be a trap game? Well, a couple things. And we kind of talked about this. So first of all, not only is it an opportunity to go undefeated at home in back-to-back seasons, so that's a huge thing to play for. But secondly, it's senior day, and a lot of our starters, for the most part, are seniors. I mean, the guys like Peyton Wilson, Drake Thomas, Isaiah Moore, Grant Gibson, Devin Carter, Thayer Thomas, you name it. A lot of them are stars. You're crazy to think that they're even for a second going to allow the thought of them losing at home in their last game in Carter Finley. It's
set a record.
not happening.
You set a record.
Yeah. No, but go
It
ahead.
can't happen. I'll tell you that young quarterback, that backup for Boston College, 3 for 4 touchdowns against
Yeah,
Duke.
he did.
But
he did.
but they have defensive linemen that they're literally transitioning mid-season to be offensive linemen just because they are that lack of depth on the offensive line. It's crazy the situation going on in Boston College right now. Go ahead, Michael.
But I will say that does make it the perfect spot to be a trap game. If it would be the trappiest of trap games.
But you know
The
what's kind
trappiest of trap games. That
Layton's
should be a
like,
new
but,
saying.
well, and I guess because for me, part of the definition of a trap game is looking to the next. And not to necessarily say that Louisville is not a challenge. It is definitely a challenge. They definitely have gotten better. It's definitely going to be a tough game, but it's not Clemson that's next. It's not UNC that's next. It's not, a game that I think anybody's looking past necessarily or dying to look to per se. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no. So again, for me, I'm not really worried about it, and also too, obviously Vegas notices something because the line opened at 17 and now it's at 19 and a half. So there's been some definite big movement that way. Yeah,
that did make me feel good to see it that big because I was like, if it comes out and it's like under 10 points, like okay, wait a minute.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I definitely think scoring what we scored last weekend affected that line because if you would have said that line would not have been that way had we played this game 4 weeks ago.
Can we just shout out my score prediction? How
did you get it right?
Was?
What was it?
I said 28-21 would be the final.
Hey, all right.
We scored 2 more than I thought we would. Look at us.
Look at us go.
Look at us go.
And I do gotta give a shout out. I do gotta give a shout out right now to NC State. As of right now, again, we're keeping up the game. It's up 24-6 right now.
That's why I'm sitting here right now, so I can put it on the TV and give you thoughts.
Natty champs, baby.
There you go.
There's my optimism, Greg.
There, she's back.
I love it. I love it.
Back.
I love it.
See who? Wilmington's about to whoop them tonight. Watch.
Well, and so we'll definitely talk more football here, and we're going to kind of save some more of the football talk for the tweets of the week. Though we got a few of them here set up for those topics.
My bad, sir.
No, you're good. You're good. No. Well,
I was just playing, Greg. Okay.
well, no. I was just saying that because it kind of moves perfectly that we brought up the game because I mean, obviously Macon, when we talked about it last week, he wasn't on, and obviously Macon's Mr. Basketball over here for sure, and so I'm dying to hear his thoughts. I mean, especially since I know you weren't at the exhibition game against Lee's McRae, but I mean, I'm sure I know you looked at the box score. I mean, what are your kind of thoughts?
So even just kind of watching the little bit here, you can see there's a lot of excitement on the players. First game, they look like they almost sometimes are like disorganized, partly because they're so nervous and excited. Like MJ Morris was, his first few quarters of the games he's played so far. But a little bit I've seen is Jack Clark is scoring a good bit early. Terquavian's had some nice transition dunks. Casey Morcell's hit a 3. I'll tell you what, DJ Burns had a really nice mid-range jump shot, essentially like a turn. He kind of posted up. There's 5 position guy and kind of turned around and hit a nice jump shot for a guy his size. Offense is not going to be a problem, I think. So it's just a matter to me of defense. Obviously, it's 24-6 right now. So, but I'm not going to say Austin Peay is a dominant offensive team. So, but man, it looks fun. It's fun seeing in-state basketball back on TV, and you want this kind of score, for your team. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, you got another 45 minutes left in the game time left. So
I don't have it on. Are they wearing the new uniforms?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like this one thing. A lot of them had this kind of black trim.
Black,
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what are your thoughts?
Mm.
We've had better, but
yeah, I'm not crazy about it. But you know what? It's gonna look a whole lot better if we win. So
That's right.
There you go.
yeah,
Right.
who cares?
Learn the rest of the season if we win.
Hey, exactly.
They might get a little stanky. Oh, we can still wash them. Is
We
that what
can
you're saying?
watch them.
Yeah,
Oh,
remember like your little league
Actually,
uniform.
who else pushing it? Maybe air dry them. Air dry 'em.
Now, again, I think that for me, the one thing is which I love, and one guy which I'm surprised you didn't even bring up was Dusan Mahorcic, because he's a guy during the scrimmage that really stood out to me as a guy that played defense tough. He rebounded the ball really well. He has a great build to him that I think can easily stand up
Strong
to
beer
some
game.
of the strong beer game. So I think he has a good build to stand up to some of the more talented centers in the ACC that they're going to see this season.
yeah, an opinion I have of him, I think could he be like a poor man's Richard Howell? Not that kind of rebounding machine, but just that kind of guy. They got his stats up here. He was averaging coming in about 5.5 points per game and 4 rebounds per game.
Mhm.
So I think he could be a really solid piece, particularly defensively. I think DJ Burns is going to be a liability defensively. So I think you should see Dusan and some other guys be that defensive presence. And I think that's where I kind of come with that rebounding kind of comment. So
yeah.
And I'll say this too. People were really surprised at how it sounded like a lot of fans and media folks were really interested in what they saw from the exhibition game with Ernest Ross.
yeah,
Mhm.
he was. I think he was 6 of 7 with like 12 points in 12 minutes. He didn't play a lot and was second on the team in scoring behind Turquavian.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, I'm here on the screen right now. He just looks so much longer than almost anybody else on State's roster. When you see him on the court, he's just like, that dude has got some serious length to him. So
The team looks a lot more together than previous years. If
A lot
that
more
makes
swagger.
sense. Yeah,
hey,
they look a lot more
DJ
like.
Burns just hit another mid-range jump shot, man. That's really nice for our center. So
Go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say Ernest Ross was someone that was coming on really strong before his injury last year. I think was his foot. I think he broke his foot.
Yeah, foot or ankle.
Yeah, foot or ankle. I couldn't remember which lower body part it was. I took a picture of him at the Louisville women's basketball game last year. We each had our walking boots on. It was pretty awesome. But I mean, he was just like, I was like, holy moly, that dude's tall. So
Yeah.
I think he's 6'9", I think is what the tight is. He's a skinny dude, but I think he's 6'9",
yeah.
Well, and the beautiful thing is now that you have Dusan, now that you have DJ Burns, and you still have EB, by the way, is that now you can use EJ Ross as more of a four or a power forward really than a center, just because, I mean, especially with his build, you're not going to ask him to go against, some of the centers in the ACC this year. So, but I think he fits much better at the 4 for sure. So
I think he would give you a lot of potential there. If Ernest Ross could just learn to hit like a 6-10
to 10 foot
shot, 8 to 10 foot kind of shot, that open up a lot. But when you, at least my vibe here, I'm getting with the game watching it here. State's really amped up. They really are want to go out and they're look. What I'm seeing here, they want to run. They want to run.
Well, and that's what Keats has been wanting to do. I don't think that he's necessarily been able to do that. I think to your point earlier, Macon, I think you're going to see this team's going to be a lot closer than last year's team. It just felt like at times it was a 1 to 2 man show for whatever reason. It just didn't feel like they were cheering for each other, at least on the surface.
Yeah.
No one's really mentioned Jarkel. I think he's gonna go off this season.
Jack
too.
Clark. I think Jack Clark's going to be
Jack Clark,
a
too, yeah.
wild card.
Well, that's a beautiful thing. There's a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys to talk about.
I haven't seen a ton yet with the balance between Jarkel and Traquavian so far this game. Like right now, they've got Breon, Jack Clark, Burns, and it looks like they've got Ross and maybe Traquavian out there. Yeah. So I haven't seen so lot so far of Jarkel and Traquavian together, but you're right. Jarkel is going to be that point guard piece. I think that could be a really strong leadership factor there too.
Yeah,
need that.
The one thing I was going to say is, kind of watching the women's game earlier. It was and I made the tweet earlier as well. It's going to be a work in progress in these first 5 to 10 games, just as you're trying to work out rotations and situational type stuff. So it'll be, you see, who matches well, who meshes well with each other. But yeah, I think this will be the first year in a couple of years that we're kind of excited about men's basketball again. It was just kind of like, whatever, like, but
because we don't know what to expect.
Right.
Yeah.
New
But there's
roster.
but exactly. I mean, just like Ken's brought up about Jarkel, it's like there's a lot of guys to talk about. So it's a very interesting new combos.
I don't think this team is going to struggle offensively. I just think the thing is, can they play defense? And if they get down or in there playing a team that is tough defensively, I want them to be able to play like. I don't get the vibe that State runs a lot of plays. I don't know if you guys get that impression.
No, I felt that way last year. A lot of solo ball.
I think they just play a lot of
ISO,
just ISO free ball, go play, do your thing, and I don't necessarily like that. I want us to be able to run plays in situations that we have like need a go-to basket. Play 2, let's go. Play 3, let's go. But I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the areas I'd be watching when they're down or playing a really strong defensive team. And they get rattled. Do they have some go-to plays? Can they come together? That leadership aspect under Jarkel, and then for them, what do they have to offer defensively?
Now, the one thing which I do want to bring up because this comment got brought up in the comments here was from Nick also asking, do you guys think that in order to make the tournament this year for Keats, that's what making the tournament is what Keats will have to do to keep his job?
No.
And
I think so.
Nope.
I think let's debate it.
Signed an extension.
Let's debate it.
Yeah.
That just means more money,
which means you pay him.
Who's paying him?
You are, Greg. You're paying him.
If I hit the Mega Millions or Powerball or whatever that is on
what's his
Wednesday.
buyout?
That's why Greg said no.
Millions?
That said
Buyout.
Greg doesn't have the money to fire him. That's why
If Greg wins the Powerball, we're gonna rename PNC to Greg's Big Ol' Arena.
Big old.
Greg, you're like Greg's chicken pit or something like that.
Yeah.
Greg's ball pit.
No, I think it does. I think he's gonna. I think he will. I think the buyout's strong, but I imagine you're right. How many years that'd be? That'd be what, 6 years? He's been in the tournament one time out of 6
with one probable.
I imagine some donors would fork up some money. I think after 5 years not being in the tournament, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, we'll see. Again,
I'm wrong, but I just think
I've got like 8 million reasons why. Like he's not going to get fired.
All right.
I don't know. I mean,
we'll
if it totally falls apart like last year, then but
let's see what happens. That's what I'm thinking. I know the season's not over yet. We're talking.
Winning a natty.
12 minutes of the game. We're like, well, keep getting fired.
Hope.
But no, I think honestly, you make up a good point. Like if the season turns out like it does last year, we finished last in the ACC. There's no progress being made. He's probably going to be gone. Like I think you scrounge the money up.
I don't see how he.
I don't see that happening either.
Gone if
totally new roster and
But again, it just goes back to my same exact philosophy with football. Is at the end of the day, fans will be patient if you give them a reason to be patient. Fan base is
crazy.
But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, we need to walk out of here. If Keith's gonna have his job, we need to walk out saying, okay, well, I feel that he's gonna do better next year because of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Period.
You need to have hope.
There has to be a plan. There has to be a plan.
Well, especially too, because I think we all agree. We talked about this last year that we should have much bigger aspirations than just making the tournament. Like that should be a byproduct. That shouldn't be a goal for us. That should be a byproduct.
We have these. We've done it before. We can do it again.
That's true.
I'm telling you, Cinderella story.
Yep, that's true. So,
Cardiac pack. It's
amen.
here.
Amen.
Yeah. He just has to give a reason for hope, which, I think this offseason he did it with the new coach, with the new assistant coaches, and then all the new transfers. And, obviously that has to continue into the season. But, hope's the strongest motivator in sports.
I've seen a lot more optimism for men's basketball than I have in a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like people are Baby T coming back was huge. So I feel like that automatically.
Who's Baby T? We don't have a Baby T.
Sorry, Grown Man T. My bad. Grown Man T. Him coming back, I feel like that just lit a flame under everybody, and we're just like, all right, let's see what this new lineup can do.
But again, I think you're right. Like it builds the optimism. So like had he gone with Sebron, I don't know if we're having this conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. Now again, he did what he needed to in the offseason. There's no doubt about it. He did a great overhaul of the coaching staff. He brought in some great transfers to fill gaps. He even changed his coaching philosophy. I think we all can agree he's never had this many big men on one roster, maybe ever, on any team he's ever had. So again, it's good to see that he's kind of adjusted to what we all feel more matches was going to take to be competitive in the ACC. I mean, again, once you face Armando Bacot and most of these other centers in the ACC, you can't just have one center on the floor. You got to have options. Yep. So period.
Now here's the thing: is now we can't be paper tigers. Now you got to go out on the court and prove it.
And show it. Exactly.
Amen. I agree. So,
look at Kevin's comment. See, I'm telling you.
I can't see comments. What is going on?
It's so Kevin says this year marks the 40th anniversary of the Cardiac Pack. Hey.
True story.
Natty, babe. I'm telling you.
I like it. I'm here for it.
You will never not get me to say we're not going to win the national championship.
That's
because one year it's going to happen. Every time, if I go in every year saying it,
the law of averages, it has to work itself out.
Right? 1 year it'll happen.
Mm-hmm. We'll keep saying it then.
So, kind of last question here on the basketball side. Preacher Man 613 asks a two-part question. Will we ever see Greg Gant sub in? And Greg, Hayden posted a picture of him Friday night announcing at the wrestling match, and you were in the picture. Did you give him tips? So Greg, did you give Hayden Hadley tips when he was on
his commentating?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't need my help. He did it. I went back and listened to it. I enjoyed listening to him on the call. It was I liked. So I did. It was interesting because obviously when you're there, you can see him like doing his motions and everything. And I was like, okay, like what is he talking about? I want to know. And then going back and hearing the audio, but not then seeing the visual of it, I could say, okay, now I know what he was doing in that, because I mean, it was really cool. I would love to see him like do WWE or something like that, because he was all in on it.
He would be the best in WWE.
Oh, for sure.
100%. Both of those brothers would be the best in WWE.
For sure.
That's true. But now to the Greg Gant portion. So first of all, got to give a shout out to Greg, obviously, who's been through so much. Obviously, with a huge.
Oh, I knew he was going to say that.
Oh,
he was going to say that.
Sorry.
I was waiting.
Sorry, Greg Gant. Yeah, got to give a hats off to Greg Gant for all he went through. That's too funny. Yeah, Greg, right into that one. You and Greg Gant are just so similar. You know what I mean? You're both athletes.
I'm growing my hair out next year.
Yeah. But obviously, again, shout out to Greg Gant, for all he's been through, obviously with the setback, last summer, and finally seeing him back on the floor, I think was, a great sight to see for all NC State fans for sure. My biggest worry about him is it just seems like he just has that injury bug a little bit, it seems like he's always dealing with something, so I hope he stays healthy. And I mean, he is an option, but I mean, I just don't know if he's going to be necessarily a game changer necessarily. But again, that's just from my initial eye test. But again, prove me wrong, brother.
I think he's a good weapon to have, but I think that you can't really 100%. And this sounds terrible, but I don't mean it to sound terrible. You can't 100% count on him to be able to produce, if that makes sense.
Right.
I mean, this is his first real game action in like two years.
But I'm saying you never know if he's going to be 100% healthy or not.
He's not even in uniform tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was waiting to see.
Dang, I didn't even know that. I don't have it pulled up.
Yeah.
Just broke his leg.
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh,
Oh
Lord.
God.
Yeah, and speaking of, can I seriously wanted to slap EJ Ross in the back of the head when he went down with that fake injury, and it was hilarious too because literally when he went down, the entire stadium, all the fans went, oh, like you literally heard a moan throughout the crowd.
Did
like,
anybody
oh,
else
Lord.
see Grant Gibson go down and
Yeah.
not on but on purpose?
Yeah.
He literally was standing
yeah.
up. It just fell backwards.
Well, when
Well,
I
and everybody was
rewatched
like, "Is
it,
he hurt?" And I was like, "No."
yeah,
He's
when I
not
rewatched
hurt.
it, it made sense. I was like, oh, he just lost his helmet, so he was trying to buy time for the center to get in and get some
Yeah,
snaps.
that's what the announcer
Ooh.
said. Yeah.
Smart.
He was
I
in
like
the middle
that.
of a whole group of people.
I didn't
we were
know that.
watching, and he looked around to where the refs were and just collapsed. And I was like, I love him.
I couldn't see it from where I was at, and
That's
I thought it
genius.
was really serious, and I'm like, oh man, we just like, come on.
Yeah.
And
I
then
knew
when I
he was
rewatched it,
faking
he had a smile
That's
because it was just
genius.
like he looked around and was like,
He
oh, I'm
looks
gonna
for
fall.
the refs everywhere. And
Yeah.
no one's looking at me, but it just fell down.
It was the best.
It was so
Definitely
funny.
go rewatch it, Leighton. You'll
What was the reason-
laugh.
What was the reason why he did that? You think?
So he lost his helmet. So his helmet came
Yeah.
off in the
So you have
play.
to come out for a
So you
play.
had to come out.
Oh,
So
okay.
he took an injury to give McMahon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
McMahon.
yeah, some practice snaps on the sideline. So
That's
he didn't
smart.
come in completely cold.
And then
I was
and
like,
then
brilliant.
and the in game just said that apparently Shaheem Bao did the same thing so that the
Yep.
ACC officials could review a play.
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh.
I love this next level thinking
Well,
by
I'll
this
tell
player.
you what,
Jeez.
people have argued that last season. There's some plays last season. People thought Derek Pitts was making really smart penalty plays because, like plays you get burnt. If you're a DB and you get burned on a play, and
Grab him.
grab him.
Yeah.
15. It's
Yeah.
like the NFL.
15 yards,
But
leave it-
I think
Only 15 yards. Yeah.
people were I saw so many tweets talking about Derek, take him off. You don't realize A.T. Perry pushes off every freaking play.
Yeah, Jordan even said it at the half.
Every
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, no, it's funny. And again, make sure. So tomorrow we're going to be releasing part 1 of our Boston College preview with Ken Gibbs. So one comment which I'll give you kind of as an insider is he said that they should just get rid of offensive pass interference, and because only way that it ever gets called is for a blocking, but if it's for a push off, it never gets called. So
Well,
just
you
go
have
and
to
get
have
rid
your
of it.
arms fully extended basically to get it called. Like if you have your arms in tight, they're not gonna. I mean, it literally has to be like a Heisman. You have to,
right,
make it
exactly.
just oblivious. The funniest part I thought was when, and I noticed it like 3 times over on the Wake Forest game. They would call it like the one ref would call a PI, and then you see 7 flags come flying in. It's like, bro, we already figured it out. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm afraid to make the call, but my boy over there already made the call, so it's okay. I'll just throw another flag. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah.
And by the way, did anyone see the band when they committed a penalty? They all had yellow.
That's been a thing all year.
That against Virginia
That's the first
Tech.
time I've seen it. That's the
It's
first
been
time
all
I
year.
noticed it.
Well, they also had the audio clip of like a vehicle,
A truck moving backwards.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Now we don't have a tweet for this. I do want to bring this up because I mean I know for us, I mean we brought up obviously all event states, been talking about it, and Dennis brings it up saying, hold up, what about MJ getting a knee to the head? How did the refs not call that? How?
Complete miss.
If he would have not gotten up, somebody would have went on that field. I'm not going to say who. Somebody would have went on that field.
Peyton
because
was
I
close.
had it with them that night.
Peyton was close. Peyton was
Peyton
pissed.
was close.
Peyton was
I'm
pissed.
telling you, it was. And then they
Yeah. That
replayed
was
it on the big
egregious.
screen
It
and
was
still
bad.
didn't do anything.
It was
Well,
He
egregious.
dragged his knee like across his head
And
and
then
then
he-
kicked him
And
backwards.
then he cleated him.
Yeah,
Cleated him.
to the face.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave Clawson after the game said there were some things that his team did that he wasn't proud of.
You think?
And I'm sure that has to be one of them. So
But then
I
he
mean,
also said that we did things, and I was like, thinking back on it, I don't remember ever playing.
I
dirty
was
like that.
not
Well,
like
the
that.
thing
Not that
is,
obvious.
Somebody
Maybe
said there was like pushing.
At the end of the game, Cyrus Fakin was like running his mouth.
Yeah.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
That's
It was
just
like
Cyrus
over.
stuff. Like
It was
Cyrus
over.
does that all
It was
the
a minute left. They had no timeouts. Worst they're going to do is back you up 5-10 yards, whatever it is, and then you snap the ball and you're done.
that was just a Saturday night for Cyrus. Like
Right,
that was
yeah,
nothing,
that's
that was
just-
nothing out of the ordinary.
That's just another day for Cyrus. Like literally going to class, that man is probably running his mouth. Like it's just what he does. That's Cyrus Fagan.
well,
But yeah,
hey,
I was worried. Peyton Wilson, when he was
He was
when they had
pissed.
to drag him off, I was like, oh Lord,
yeah,
Yeah.
he was
like
pissed.
he was ready. I've never seen
Yeah.
him that mad before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing, when Clausen's like, well, if they would have called it like this earlier in the game, it was like, no, like you need to control your boys. Like
Exactly.
that there's nothing. I don't care how bad it gets in a game. Like that's imposing injury
Right.
when a guy is vulnerable. Like there's just no excuse for it in a sporting environment.
But I mean, Dave Clawson was also kind of unhinged.
Oh yeah.
At the game
Oh,
as
yeah.
well. So if
Oh,
your
yeah.
coach is unhinged, how do you expect your players to be okay? Like
That's a
I
fair
saw
point.
one play,
Yeah.
he was all the way out to Keon on
Mhm.
the field, and I'm like, last time I checked, that's a penalty. Like, why is he? And he like
Yeah.
it was like 4 different times that game. Like he was
Yeah.
insane that entire game.
Speaking of insane, Lassane was great. Like
That's
he,
that's
couple of those catches.
Lassane is insane. There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Hey,
Yeah.
remember, I'll still stick by preseason. He was the guy that I said to watch out for.
did.
So,
Hey,
and
You
he's,
know what? I'm gonna say this stuff. Not that drive there was about 10-minute mark in the first half there, 9-10-minute marks. And that I watched it back. It's when it happened.
Yeah.
You got to remember that was a 2nd and 10, and then we tried to do a QB run play, I think there, and it became 3rd and 13. Wake Forest had just gone down and scored a touchdown and made it 7-3, and you went through on. You got the ball. I don't know if it was a 3 and out kind of potential there, but it was 3rd and 13. And I remember up the stands like, ooh, we're getting the ball back. They go back down and score here. That makes it 14-3. And they take, that was a gutsy call to chuck it downfield like that.
Mhm.
And was it a 40-some yard passing play?
Mhm.
You get the first down, and then 2 plays later, you go a delayed draw run for Houston up the middle, and then you have the slant in pass for the touchdown to Lassane. That was a big play by Morris, a big play call by Beck, and a great catch by Lassane there. And that 2 plays later, he has another great catch and a great throw by Morris. I just thought that was really that was Lassane's drive, in my opinion. And he really has started to become a very reliable piece. He was during the Clemson game. He was during this game. He's become a solid piece. I wouldn't call it. He's not the number 1 receiver, but man, he's been
stepped up in some big games.
Really
Yeah,
good.
stepped up. He is definitely improved.
No
What
doubt.
Endgame says, I think that him and MJ are going to be
Comments.
that connection, like Emeka and Leary were
Yeah.
at some point. Not now, but in
Well,
the future.
Well, and especially too, the one thing which I do want to say, McLean's point talking about how Grant Gibson had to hold back Devin Carter and Fagan.
after the game.
I
there was a
saw
little bit of that.
I saw Corey Durden and Fagan, but first of all, my thought is, smack talk is smack talk, especially in a rivalry game. You want that again. You want
Right.
a little bit of hostility. That's what makes rivalry games great. If you don't have that, it's really a rivalry game,
Right.
and so I have no issues with talking smack. It's just more of when you go the extra distance, like if you run or onto the field or to go after the guy. But if you're a defense and you're already there and they start talking smack to you, then sure, go at it. As long as you don't swing a punch or whatever it is, then sure, wrestling.
You don't do the Clemson uppercut they had one.
Yeah, to Jarvis Bird, poor man. Dude, that dude went through 2 or 3 ACL tears and the offensive lineman uppercut. I'm like, bro, that dude's been through enough. Leave him alone.
Icky from last year.
Dude. All right,
Right sock that dude.
I want to see some tweets of the week.
Yeah, let's.
But hey, before we do that, does anyone know why? Like, did McDonough get hurt in the game because they switched punters in the middle of the game?
He said he had thigh bruise.
Thigh bruise. Okay.
I don't know.
My brother is friends with Colin Smith. He thought they were bringing him in for like a situational thing. Like they thought. He said, but my brother thought he's like, yeah, I wonder if he's like really good at pinning you down inside the goal line. Maybe it's coincidence, but he got him at the 1. So
yeah.
Maybe.
No, I hadn't had a chance to listen to any of the press conferences or see anything. But I was like, wait, that's not McDonough there punting. So
yeah. Doran said he had a thigh bruise, so they just put in the. He's a freshman too, so
he punted great.
Yeah,
he did.
He kind of punted a little better than McDonough, but we won't talk about that.
Ooh.
He had a better average, and he pinned him. So
Yeah, that's a bold one. All right, so that being said, we're going to finally jump into Tuffy's Tweets of the Week. Here we go. All right, so the first one I had to bring up, this is more for saltiness than anything, but what the heck, Brian Moreland? You got freaking Greg the Leg ranked at number 3.
How am I number 7?
Kenzie at 7, and then you
How
put
am I number 7?
and you put Tuffy Talk at 9. I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but Greg and Kenzie are part of Tuffy Talk. So I would assume that, if you add pieces together, they make something bigger, not actually like take something away. So I just don't get that whatsoever.
His reasoning was terrible.
He's also got what's his face, Raleigh Wood Scott on there twice. What is that?
Well, apparently A was supposed to be Scott Wood.
Yeah.
That Wolfpack recruit account's really nice too.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So Leighton, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you've heard this before, but the problem with haters, they're gonna hate.
No,
so
hey,
it's
all good.
I'm number 3, sir.
Yeah, I know.
At least for this week.
Number 7.
Mine, Greg.
What's that?
When you said haters, they're going to hate.
Yeah,
haters
that's the problem with them. Hey, I don't even know what I did. I tweeted it earlier. I was like, dude, Kens and Tuffy Talk tweet way better than I do. I just do a lot of likes and retweets, and every now and then I'll throw a comment.
His reasoning was he doesn't like my tweets. Well, that's not my problem.
Well,
why is he on the list? Why are you on the list then? If you don't
I think it's a hate. It's a hate vote. Like she got a hate vote. Which any publicity is good publicity, right?
Very competitive.
Sure.
So that really doesn't matter.
Look, man, I'm 45 years old. I barely can spell Twitter. So like, yeah. Anyway, but thank you, Brian.
Yep.
You have good class. So
now, yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, we'll take it.
We'll take it.
Hey, what it is.
Hey, we got 3 representatives on there. So
yeah. And so
I must be doing something right.
All I need is for him to put Tuffy Talk twice like he did Scott, So
I need to be higher than 5.
Okay, look, I relinquish my 3rd and I bequeath it to you. You can have mine.
All right, moving on to our next tweet of the week. Obviously, this is one that absolutely stands out for sure.
Speaking of Ken,
speaking of the conversation, Coach Dave Dorn in his press conference said, when the Carters
this is not to be number 1. You're welcome. The stadium was full at the end of the game.
Yeah,
you got what you wanted, right?
So Mackenzie, you missed your opportunity here. You should have tweeted out. You probably still could say to all the fans who stayed, "You're great."
I tweeted.
And then everybody would have been like, "Yeah," retweeted that.
No, I would say to all the fans that stayed because of the score, you don't suck.
Right? I might do that tonight. But I tweeted after the game because Hannah told me to say something. So I tweeted. I was like, "I love a full Carter Finley." At the end of the game.
There you go.
Because I had people at Greg's tailgate walking in the stadium. No tweeting today.
I can vouch for that too.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, so in Coach Dorn's press conference, he had the statement saying, when the Carter's full and the stadium is rocking, it's a great environment. And now we're sitting here at 16 wins at home. And also, too, one stat that cannot be overlooked is 15 false starts in the last 2 games. That's ridiculous. That's impressive.
Yep. And we didn't have any false starts past game. So
no, we didn't. Yep. Yeah, no, we didn't. And no turnovers. That's another crazy thing. They haven't turned the ball over either.
+3. It was like our cleanest game all season.
Yeah.
If you're +3 in that column, you're going to win probably 9 times out of 10.
True. So obviously, again, got to give a shout out to Wolfpack Nation for making Carter Finley, a tough environment for sure. Again, there's no doubt that the 12th man is 100% a real thing.
12th person.
And the 12th person. Yeah, 12th person.
We don't discriminate.
Take my mom out of here, please.
Go ahead, Megan.
No, it's good. I was just joking with y'all. You're good.
Oh, okay, cool. So definitely look forward. And also too, I'll go ahead and say this as well, is that for Boston College, again, senior day. So make sure to get in there early. As we got to get in there.
Did you see that? Is that one of the tweets of the week?
That is. We'll get there.
No one answered my question.
I've never seen
what was your question?
What was your question, Ken?
If we beat them,
do we storm the field? No, we're not storming the field.
It's Boston College.
If you storm the field, let us know.
That's not the point. The point is that we broke the home record.
Yeah.
What?
But again, people
130 seasons of football,
for
and
that.
we broke it, and you're not going to rush it? I am.
I mean, go for it.
Hey, if
Just
I
have a
see you,
GoPro.
if I see you out there, I will go.
Okay, say less.
Just
I'll
don't
be
jump,
there.
Greg.
I'm not jumping,
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no.
but
Just
I'll
bring
do
them
my best to
stairs.
get there.
Okay. You
I
better get there
mean-
before I get arrested, because then that'll defeat the purpose.
I mean,
Hey,
there should be
I
something.
got one
Let's
leg.
put it
I
that way.
cannot catch you that fast.
Yeah. But I do agree, though, there should be something,
right?
some kind of recognition for that. That is a big deal.
On
Having
senior
17
day
straight
too, with
wins.
all
They
these
just
guys.
honestly, they do put a
she's
big
onto
nice
something.
graphic on the screen and shoot up some big fireworks. Be honest.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah, and then Ken's
Y'all
and
no
then
fun,
Ken's can storm the field. I mean,
They bring a UNC Ram out and they kill it on the field and they offer the food.
And then I'll smoke it.
Yeah,
I'll smoke.
Naked.
Well, late
she's
night, late,
making.
do
late
this
tonight, we'll
Dang.
throw it on the grill
Sacrifice.
afterwards.
thing and make it super weird and awkward, and that's how you do it.
But I
Sheesh,
mean, we
making.
rushed the field against UNC. That wasn't. They were worse than us.
Well,
last season.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what
Again.
you do. That's what you do. We should have a pig picking on the field to celebrate just a good old fashioned pig picking. That'd be interesting.
Hey, we did our pig picking for
Everybody in the
Wake Forest,
comments,
so
join me. In game
uh,
will do it. In game will come with me.
I agree.
The Saints 919. Hey, bud.
And Dennis says he'll have a beer while we're storming the field.
Same.
So
There
I
we go.
like that. I like that. Dennis.
Shotgun it.
Yeah.
Hey, all I'll say is, hey, mom, send bail money because I
Yeah.
think I might need
Bail.
some.
Right.
Yeah. And
Mom will link me in there.
Nick, yes, the game is ACC Network. That's correct. All right. So that being
Well, actually, sorry, let me say this. It's halftime of the game. For those who aren't watching the basketball game, it's 49-21. And just looking at the stats here, just a quick update. Your leading scorer, I believe, is
tied.
tied.
Big
Fabian Smith and Jarkel Joyner are tied with 12 apiece.
Yeah.
Jarkel Joyner's got 4 assists. Quavian's got 2, but Quavian has 2 steals. And then you're looking at guys like DJ Burns, guys. He's got 8 points, but he's 4 for 4. And if you look at every one of those shots he's making, they are impressive. It's not like he's just getting right up in the basket and just easy layup. I mean, they are skillful offensive plays. Turn, mid-range shot, off the glass. Great touch around the rim for DJ Burns, and just kind of, I don't know, that's been honestly, that's probably been the more impressive thing so far watching this game is how much offensive skill DJ Burns has.
What's the turnovers committed to turnovers forced?
It is turnovers. Austin Pay has 10 to our 5.
Okay.
Yep. It's
So
not bad.
nothing crazy. State shooting 61% or 19 for 31. 3-pointers, you'd like to see it just a hair better, ideally. But it's 35%. It's 5 for 14.
35. That's good.
That's fine.
But it's a good number, right? I mean, in a great world, you'd like to see 40-ish, but it's 35 is solid.
Somebody's being greedy tonight.
I am. I don't know. I
High
just really love
expectations.
basketball, man. I just love this number. 16 rebounds to their 8. Blocks. We have 2 blocks. DJ Burns had one of them, so I saw that happen. 5 steals total, 9 assists. The only thing that the glaring difference here is points off turnovers. We have 14 points off turnovers. That's where I'm talking about the transition plays. So they have, Austin Pay has 2. So there's little tidbits there, but it's a 49-21 score.
That's
Love
the thing
it.
too about the whole turnover thing, right? Like, are they in ball turnovers or are they out of bounds turnover type plays, right? So, like,
Right.
There's a lot of in-balls, to be honest with you. Some of them, it's got a little half and half, but it's some in-ball plays.
no, but what I'm saying is, if you're going to have turnovers, you'd rather not them, get a break off of it, right? So, like, we have 5 turnovers, they only have 2 points. So,
Yep.
even if you have 10 or 15, if they have minimal points off of them, you can kind of deal with the turnovers.
Yeah.
Well, and also just saying, 919. Yes, we are not playing anybody necessarily worth
Get that out of here.
too much, but
Yeah.
but at the end of the day,
Nobody is.
Right, yeah.
But that's not. That's why we're not sitting here going, "We're up by 28. Let's go!"
Yeah.
Like we're just
some
saying,
of us
"Hey,
aren't- yeah, I mean, some of us are screaming natty, but
Right.
Yeah.
Greg, you want to fight? Because we
Yeah.
can.
I will fight you virtually. Hey, remember who has your boots?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I
You
got
Hey,
it.
got
Oh, it's
Saturday.
got hostage. Got
hey,
those hostage.
Zip it. Let me say something.
Go ahead, buddy."
was going to say, my buddy Casey there, because of Casey, I was thinking that it's just like into all the fans. This is first game. You're right. You're playing a chump. You're not playing anybody significant. So what you're doing here is you're seeing. To me, first game is let's look at the pieces, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we have going on right now? That's what I think you're looking at. What are we running offensively? What are we running defensively? How are we able to score? What's the individual players' skill sets? The energy you're playing with. That's what I look for. Defensively, what are you doing? That's what I look for in a game like this.
Yep. So definitely, again, just something to keep in mind. But now, jumping on to our next tweet of the week, got to give a shout out to Isaiah Moore and MJ Morris. Obviously, MJ Moore, his back-to-back ACC Rookie of the Week.
Take that, Drake Make or whatever your name is.
Yeah. And then Isaiah Moore won ACC Linebacker of the Week. Obviously, shout out to Isaiah, losing his grandmother earlier this week.
Big shout out to Zay.
So big shout out to Zay.
That goal line stand was all Isaiah Moore. Those were he really had all three tackles.
All 3 plays were him. Yeah.
Plus, they had incredible.
It was a very emotional game for him. I was glad that he finally got to go off. Yeah, for that game especially.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a pass defended too. He had the nice tip on what would have probably been a completed pass.
He had 7 tackles in the first half.
Yeah. I think he had 3 or 4 solos.
Yeah.
Yep. And and then from the MJ Morris side, so one stat which got to give a shout out to David Hale Joint for putting this stat out there is that this season there's only 9 Power 5 quarterbacks that have accounted for 250 yards of passing, 3 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions in back-to-back games.
Some of these MJ Morris for $500, please.
So some of the names on this list are Caleb Williams with USC. You got Will Rogers, Hendon Hooker, CJ Stroud.
Will Rogers. They make good chicken.
Yeah. And then MJ Morris. And there's only one true freshman on that list, and that's MJ Morris. So, again, just super
so you're
impressive.
saying Drake May's not on that list?
Drake May is.
Oh, okay.
But he's not a true freshman.
We're not giving him credit.
He's not a true freshman. He's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah.
Is he?
Oh. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought he was a true freshman.
No, he's a redshirt.
But he gets the ACC Rookie of the Year, so that's our Rookie of the Week. So
right,
gotcha.
So yeah, because he played in the Sam Howell, I think it was against Wofford or something like that last year.
He did.
So
you're right.
You're right.
If you go to UNC's website picture, the main picture of him is throwing a ball and Sam Howell standing right behind him. So at the UNC year, so you're totally right.
Yeah, I did because that was when Howell was coming off injury and they saved him before they played us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
But again, guys, this is a guy who came in the spring, was playing spring baseball at his high school in Georgia, and he's barely knows the offense. And I assume he might be picking this thing up so fast, but to be able to do what he's doing. You're down 21-3 Virginia Tech, and you're scoring. Everybody knows you have to throw to score points, and you're having to do that. And that first half against Wake Forest, 3 points. Wake Forest goes and score a touchdown. State goes and score a touchdown. They were throwing punches there for a young quarterback to do that and beat out Sam Hartman, who I think is a really good ACC quarterback. Outplay him. That's a I don't think people realize how kind of rare that is and special it is.
Yeah.
If you think about it, when's the last time a true freshman has come in and played like that on any level?
Probably Sam Howell.
But see, here's my thing though, because everybody was saying is comparing Phillip Rivers and Russell Wilson to what MJ's done so far, and the thing which I immediately say to that is I don't think that Phillip Rivers or Russell Wilson went into the pressure that MJ has gone into, and the fact that there's super expectations with MJ to produce this season alone. Because obviously with Phillip, he went in, at the beginning era of the Chuck Amato era, so there wasn't really much expectations there. Russell Wilson, kind of same thing. It was just trying to figure out steps with Tom O'Brien, but he came in only 4. And because another thing too is that if I'm not mistaken, Phillip Rivers came in the spring before his year, correct?
He did, yeah.
Russell Wilson also too had opportunities. MJ Morris has only been on campus for 4 months.
Exactly.
And he had no off season to prepare. For the most part, he basically had a month of of summer training ball, and then
But
here he is balling out.
But people are missing the point Macon made. He had third string reps, which means like zero.
Yeah,
basically
nothing.
You have a true. It was hard for me to believe we have a true freshman in playing like that, and you automatically have that optimism about the rest of the season.
Start.
Like we were worried against Syracuse that our season was over,
Mm-hmm.
and now I'm going into Carolina like dub. Like I'm actually more optimistic than me just saying that.
Is that possible?
You know what I'm saying?
But think about this: like his first start was beating a ranked team.
Exactly.
A senior.
You don't see that a lot.
With NFL receivers, I mean, I know we're talking about A.T. Perry, but those are NFL receivers on his team. They are. So, but I'm also looking at the comments here with we haven't Casey, who's my cousin, saying something. He's saying, we don't have we haven't played an away game yet, and that's fair. I mean, I think Louisville is going to be a really tough test. Louisville's starting to figure themselves out.
I'm still curious to see how many people are going to show up for that game for Louisville. I'm not so convinced it's going to be a horrible environment to go play your first road game.
With McLean Hardy's comment there, the receivers do look like they're gelling much better.
Mm-hmm.
Our offense looks more.
It looks more cohesive.
I think as a shot there. Do you guys? I think we talked this last week, but I'm gonna bring this up again. Do you like? I don't think much has changed with Tim Beck calling plays. There's more.
I do because he's still a more QB runs, more design.
Well, beyond that,
but that's a big aspect though, Macon.
I get that. I will give you that. That's fair. I mean, I'm kind of assuming that part of it. So
yeah. No. But I think I don't think I do feel like I don't feel like we've thrown as many screen passes as we had beforehand.
No, because I think the QB run takes that spot.
QB run, QB run is the new bubble screen for us.
Hey, but guess what? We're a lot more productive with the QB run than we were the screen passes.
Yeah.
Well, and it was more of two when. Once we started to even bring in like the halfback draw, which we did
really
well.
That was so good.
Was nice.
I was going to bring that up too. That was an effect. We ran that like 4 times for at least 8 yards each time. Like,
yep,
that was a money play.
Side note: we need to play Michael Allen more.
Well, and he's not even on the depth chart. He's not on the.
I don't understand how he's not even on the depth chart.
It's crazy.
He deserves to be at least 4th string or whatever he is.
I think he's got one more game before he burns the red shirt. Is he at 3 or 4 right now?
He's played 3, I think.
3.
Yeah. So he's got one more.
But,
I mean, what we're seeing right now is the future of Pac football, and I'm here for
if
it.
everything continues.
Like Terrell Timmons, Michael Allen, MJ Morris, that whole group.
And because think about too, I mean,
Cleveland was in there a lot of games.
Timmons,
yeah. Well, because the crazy thing too is keep in mind too that technically Houston does have another year, if he decides to use it or not. So, but
Devin Carter does too.
I'm gonna make a note here.
Yeah.
When you watch the offense let's just look at Wake Forest. I know Jordan Houston's had some good plays, but man, when you watch Michael Allen play compared to Houston, I'm sorry, but he just looks better. He just looks. I know he didn't have a lot of averages, but I think if you look back at the last 2 or 3 games, like look at the 3 games that Michael Allen's played in a small sample size, I think he's averaging like 6 yards per rush.
Yeah.
6 yards per rush or 7. I think it was 7 against Wake Forest. It just looks like a different type of running back. If Houston is touched, he's going down a lot of times. I mean, that's the way I feel like Houston a lot of times. So
but
I feel like Michael Allen deserves playing time.
Yes.
Even if you burn his red shirt, if you feel like you can win with them, they were talking about this on the post-game radio show. To heck with the red shirt, play him. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you want to play your best players, right? You play to win. As Herm Edwards say, you play to win the game.
Yeah.
But can I be the anti-Kens for like 3 seconds, and you guys can throw all the haterade at me that you want? Let's also keep into perspective that the last 2 opponents we played have been Virginia Tech and Wake Forest. Not great defenses, but they're still ACC opponents, and you still did what you did. But again, we as state fans like to get ahead of ourselves sometimes. Me included. Let's just keep progressing. Let's keep going in the right direction.
I will say though, Virginia Tech statistically they have a top 50 defense. Boston College is worse. I think Louisville is by far our hardest game left.
Defensively, yes. Is that what you're talking about? Defensively?
Yeah, defensively, obviously. Yeah.
And then UNC with their number 1 defense in the ACC, right?
Oh,
I mean, gotta watch out for them.
Forgot about
All right,
them.
someone you think
Points allowed. Points allowed.
Yeah, points allowed.
I'm kind of scared for Drake May after those comments he made about state athletes and state players. So
Did you just say scared?
I'm scared for him because our
Oh,
linebackers.
for him. Okay,
Yeah, I know what you meant, Kens.
Yeah,
They're
They're
gonna
gonna,
kill
eat, they're gonna eat his crap for breakfast.
Listen, our Drake is gonna kill their Drake. It's just
Here's a
Drake on Drake
marketing thing. Here's a marketing thing. I really think for the next few years. Well, I say that assuming Leary comes back, we don't know what that's going to look like. But if Morris is the guy of the future, Morris and May, that kind of sounds like a nice marketing news.
Morris versus May, number 2.
Right, you get what I'm saying? Like the M's there. So
now, the one thing which I will say is the beautiful thing which I love. So that from what we've seen these past 2 games, is that I think we all can agree going into the season there was a huge question mark of, okay, we're gonna have a lot of great pieces this year, but then you're gonna lose a ton of them, and then it's gonna be like, okay, I guess the transfer portal, like, what's going on. But we have a lot of those guys right now that are not only just our future, they're our present too. I mean, MJ Morris, Demi Sumo, Terrell Timmons, they're not just the future, they're the present too.
And there's names out there that we're not even talking about on defense too. There's a lot
Brandon
of good defense
Cleveland played a lot.
Yeah.
Brandon Cleveland played a lot. And even guys like not true freshmen or even rich, but like you Devon Betty and Jalen Scott are linebackers that are really good. They don't play a lot. I mean, Devin Boykin's a young guy.
Jordan Poole.
Jordan Poole's a young guy.
Aiden White's only a sophomore. Aiden White's only a sophomore.
Davin Van is a young guy. I think he's a sophomore, right?
He's impressive. He's impressive. So again, future's in great hands, folks. That's all I'm saying. So you got to get through a couple. Go ahead, Greg.
One last thought on this.
Yeah.
We thought we were taking a step back next year with MJ Morris.
Well, we thought you might need to get a transfer to who's your starter. That was the question, right?
Right.
Where he goes pro, we thought he would be going pro, and he still could. And honestly,
I don't think we're worried.
I'm not worried if Leary comes back. Great,
fantastic.
If he doesn't, we have MJ there, and I feel good about both. But honestly, I think the offense has flowed sometimes better with MJ. I feel like I don't want to say that about Leary because we saw him through 35 touchdowns last year, but this year the offense has looked better with MJ. It just has.
Well, and I think, and again, I know we need to move on, but I think some of that's just because the wide receivers haven't necessarily stepped up other than Thayer. And then, maybe the little bit of a leakiness on the left side. And so you probably want a little bit more of a mobile quarterback. And so I think that's the difference maker right there. Anyway, we can move on.
MJ is the first quarterback that Tim Beck actually recruited and brought on campus, and he fits his system. So
did we know that the school that MJ Morris went to is the same school Trevor Lawrence went to? Did anybody know that?
No, was it?
No.
Is he from Carrollton?
Georgia? No. I don't think.
No,
is it the same high school? I know they had the same coach. I thought
same
it was
coach.
Same coach at a different high school.
Okay, my apologies. Yeah, I knew. So I just made the assumption it was the same school. But you're right, Michael. It definitely is the same coach. My apologies.
Yeah. So now our next tweet of the week. Again, we mentioned at the beginning, this guy needs all of the love and attention. Chris Dunn. I mean, that guy has absolutely all-American. I mean,
he deserves when Luke Rosa award. If he keeps this up, he deserves Luke Rosa.
He hasn't missed a kick this season.
17 in a row, right?
How many? I think he had. How many 50+ yard kicks has he made? At
least 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
And one of them was against at Clemson in Death Valley. That was impressive. Yeah. So, and then he made 4 straight ones at Florida State to basically help us pull that one out. And then he made a big kick, 2 big kicks against Wake Forest. One which was over 50, and then one was a 28-yarder, but it was basically for to ice the game. So
it's been a while. It's been a while since we've had a kicker where you could just be like, you know what, we got it. Like when he comes out on the field, and I feel like that's the position we're gonna miss the most after he.
I will say that.
I'm dreading that. I'm dreading.
So he's only 2 of 2 for 50. But he's 7 of 7 from 40 to 49. So
Yeah.
He's freaking beast.
So
Unbelievable.
when he hit that goalpost, though, guys, I didn't even notice it.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I didn't
Hey,
even notice it during the game, but I was like watching back when they did the highlight on the screen after the game, like, dang, that he almost
Yep.
missed that.
He
Wow.
almost missed
And you
it.
remember he missed it against Virginia Tech last week when they called timeout.
Oh
Twice.
yeah.
I think he missed
Oh,
it twice
yeah,
because
you're
they called
right.
timeout twice.
Did he miss both? I can't remember if he missed both of them or not, but I know he missed one of
And
them.
then nailed the third one.
Yeah.
so that's all that matters. That's all
That's
that
it.
matters.
Yeah, the one that counts.
The one in the
Yeah.
stat book.
Exactly. So now, obviously, again, we already said it once, but gotta say it again. Obviously, huge shout out to all of our players
Yes,
walking on Saturday. Again, it's a huge list. Again, not all these people are necessarily leaving. Doran's always said that some of them are still considering their future.
That's still so hard to look at.
Yeah, it is a lot.
I mean,
of
they're gonna have
names.
to start. They're gonna have to start this 45 minutes before the game starts.
That's
Pretty
what
much.
I'm saying.
Guys,
Pretty much.
Wait,
Uh,
my favorite name on this list, the coolest name is Aristotle Bowles. That's
Oh.
a sick name.
That's, that screeches.
Aristotle named your kid Aristotle. That's awesome.
That's some monarchy stuff right there.
Aristotle
Yeah.
Bowles.
Now there's a few guys I feel like should get some extra applause. Some of those guys include for me Chandler Savala. I think Jack Chambers should get some for sure. He's really stepped up, in situations. And again, I don't necessarily I truly do say that him getting pulled was not necessarily because of his play, just more of just the offense just needed a spark, and MJ Morris was just able to give us that spark, and so not necessarily, and also too, because Jack Chambers multiple times against Clemson when Devin Leary's helmet got knocked off, he went in there and ran a handoff beautifully, without any warm up whatsoever, just went in there, did it, easy peasy. So huge hats off to him. But again, the list goes on and on. But again, get in there early, Wolfpack Nation, and let's thank all these seniors, whether they come back or not, and again, just give all the respect that needs to be given here.
Yeah. Hey, Casey, about your question there, man. Saints 919. They're doing basically the Doran's letting players walk who are having those like junior years who could leave to go pros.
Yeah.
Could be senior. It's not just a senior day. I kind of get where that question comes from. I might be senior day, but sometimes coaches do let players who they think could leave for professional reasons walk early. So that's part of the reason why.
But typically too, once you walk, they typically don't let you, like if you come back, typically, at least from my knowledge, they don't let you walk the next year if you truly are a senior next year. Typically, at least from my knowledge of it. But I don't remember a person that's done that. And
you don't think any of these guys walked last year,
I think
like Tanner?
Maybe.
And Devin Carter, I think, did too.
All right, so next slide is obviously shout out to Emeka Mezi. Again, obviously the Panthers adding Emeka Mezi to their practice squad.
That's awesome.
So
Put him in, not practice squad. We need a wide receiver.
I agree, but it's sad though too, because Emeka was really starting to kick off his media career. He was doing some interviews with.
I'm sure he's okay putting it on hold.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, man, but I was looking forward to it though. So I'm
okay. So next slide.
Next slide. That's right.
Anyway,
nicely played, Macon.
Yes. No. And then lastly, got to give a shout out to our women's soccer team who got announced today as an 8 seed in the NCAA tournament. They are going to be hosting UCF, and with the opportunity to face one of the top 4 seeds, UCLA, next as well. So
unless they don't come.
Wait, who are they? Well done.
Yeah.
Who would you say they play?
UCF.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Central Florida.
Central Florida.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was South Florida they were playing, but
okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was UCF.
I always get them confused.
Yeah. Which they finished the women's team. They had some good wins, but they actually didn't even make the ACC tournament. They finished like 11th in the ACC and didn't even make the ACC tournament. So
yeah,
hopefully they can do something here in the NCAA tournament.
They made a little noise last year.
Yeah.
Well, and they have a lot of young players. I mean, obviously, highlighted by the Holt, sisters, that just joined as freshmen. So, excited to see what's going to happen with them. But, again, I mean, it's, this is a team that consistently has have made multiple, a couple different Sweet 16 appearances in the last few years. So, again, hey, an opportunity is an opportunity. Cardiac pack. Let's make something happen. So, Now, the one thing which I do got to bring up, as a side note to kind of wrap this up is Naheem to blame for Bills losing to the Jets on Sunday? I mean,
Chill out.
I'm just not.
What you're not gonna do is disrespect
You
Naheem.
shut your mouth, okay?
You shut your mouth. Yeah.
Negative.
Yeah.
I
No,
finally get to watch him on TV now, and it makes me so happy.
I know he had one carry. He could have done so much more with that carry. Like, come on, Naeem. Sheesh, Louise. You could have won it with that
Naheem,
one
you're
carry.
still the best. Don't listen to him.
I'm messing.
If you're watching this.
Yeah, no, I'm messing. No, Naeem's the man. It was crazy seeing him in a Bills uniform, and same thing with Chubb. Seeing him in a Miami uniform was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, but
That
the best part
worst.
was him wearing
Looked
a Thayer
good.
Thomas shirt walking into the
Right.
stadium. I love
Dude,
that.
Which
I
one?
love- Naeem wore a
Naeem.
Thayer Thomas shirt into the game yesterday, into the locker room.
And then Bradley Chubb talked about him and that Clemson guy.
Christian
They
Wilkins.
got they already got into it.
Did you
love
see that? To kind of similar note, but his guy's not an NC State guy. Did you see Damian Lillard was wearing
Yeah.
Dan Smith Jr.'s,
junior NC State sneakers for his game?
Yeah.
which honestly, my first reaction.
They're really close friends. Yeah. So
Well, but to be honest, my first reaction when I saw that was, Dennis Smith Jr. still has NC State stuff. Like, okay, cool. Like, I
Interesting.
I mean, let's be real. It's no Justin Bieber wearing state gear, but whatever.
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
it's way
Take a seat, Damien.
It's way better. Yeah, Justin Bieber.
That's right.
Anyway, though, Saints 9192 asking how can you not make the tournament? It's the same format as it is with, I think, men's basketball as well, with most of the sports, where basically there's a certain amount of spots, but it's not all 16 teams that make it.
Yeah.
I think it's 12 if I'm not mistaken. So yeah.
So
So
the
Eight
ACC
or-
is
8 or
loaded in
12.
women's soccer. Like,
yes, they are.
like
Yes, they
they're
are.
one of I think they are the best conference.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, again, first of all, I want to say thank you all again for tuning in for a Tuffy Talk live show. Always a pleasure to have you. Thank you all so much for the comments, for the shout outs, for the support. Again, definitely make sure, again, Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to be releasing our episodes for the Boston College previews / kind of Wake Forest discussion. So make sure to tune in for that. Don't miss out on that. And to make sure you don't miss out on that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that free notification bell. So that way you're notified on all your devices when we go live with any content, not just episodes, but watch parties, live streams, you name it. And also too, if you're an NC State fan and you love NC State and think the NC State is going to win against Boston College on Saturday, hit that like button for us and follow us Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram. Greg, do you have any closing remarks? I saw you almost try and say something.
Yeah, don't. We'll also have women's basketball tickets to give away this week.
Yes, we will. So stay tuned for that. And also too, if you haven't already considered it, make sure to consider joining the channel as well for some exclusive Tuffy Talk content. For only $1.99 a month, you get access to exclusive Tuffy Talk content that are for members only. You get access to our private Discord channel, our weekly newsletter put together by our one and only Michael Tracy, and then also you get also some really cool emojis and badges that you see Endgame and Saints 919 sporting. So if you want in on that, again, all you have to do is click that join button. Only for $1.99 a month, you get access to all of that content. So make sure to do that. So thank you all so much for joining us again. Really appreciate the support once again, and we'll see y'all next week. And hopefully 8-2, baby. Here we go. Go Pack. We'll see y'all soon, y'all.